Hello everyone, my name is Quad and welcome to the Systems of Warframe, a series in which we take a look at many things scattered throughout the solar system of Warframe. Today we're going to take a look at the Operator Arcanes, arcanes that buff your operator or help with your gameplay. Altogether there is 21 Operator Arcanes, and just to point out, we will only take a look at the maxed versions. FYI, to max an Operator Arcane you need 21 normal arcanes without upgrades, so it is quite a farm. You may equip these arcanes in the equipment menu of your operator at the back of the orbiter. You can equip 2 at a time, with the only limitation being only 1 arcane of per kind. So for example, if I have a Magus Vigor equipped, I cannot equip another Magus Vigor. As of version 31.6.3, there are 2 types of Operator Arcanes, Magus type and Emergence type. The only difference between the two is where we get them, so let's go over that first. Some Magus Arcanes can be bought with Quill standing from Quill Onco at the back of Cetus, and some other Magus Arcanes can be bought with Vox Solaris standing from the Little Duck in the back room of Fortuna. We will talk about the other type of the Operator Arcanes, the Emergence type, later, so let's first look how to get the Magus Arcanes sold by Quill Onco. Magus Vigor can be obtained from Quill Onco for 2,500 Quill standing, and is the staple of almost every Tenno at some point. What the arcane does is quite simple, it increases the operator's health by 300. Magus Husk can also be obtained from Quill Onco for 5,000 Quill standing, and what it does is also quite simple, it increases the operator's armor by 150, which is not that much, but it sure does help, you know. What it does, it basically increases your resistance to damage. Now we come to the fun arcanes. Magus Cloud, with the price of 10k Quill standing per arcane, increases the Void Sling length by 300% upon going into the Void mode for 6 seconds. If the timer runs out, you can just go into the Void mode again and carry on. It is a very nice arcane for speedrunners, for example. The next Magus Arcane on the list is Magus Cadence, which costs 10k Quill standing per arcane. What it does is not that great if you ask me, but it is still useful. After using the Void Sling, the operator will gain 90% sprint boost for 12 seconds. Again, not the best, but can be useful in some ways, like playing an operator-only exterminate or something. Magus Replenish is an insanely nice arcane for healing the operator. The cost of one is 10k Quill standing, and what it does is quite simple. Upon a Void Sling, your operator will regen 30% of his health. This is an insanely useful arcane to nab for an Eidolon hunt, for example. The next arcane on the list is Magus Elevate, which can be bought off Quill Onco for 10k Quill standing, and is probably one of the best arcanes for solo players out there. When you transfer back into Warframe, there is a 95% chance your Warframe will heal by 300 health points. You can easily transfer between Warframe and Operator, so Magus Elevate basically means immortality if used quickly enough. Arcane Magus Nourish is the slightly worse version of Magus Elevate if you ask me. You may get it from Quill Onco for 10k Quill standing, what it does is, well, it heals while you are not in your Warframe, so while you use the Operator mode. The amount of health regenerated is 35 per second, so you need to be outside for quite a while to fully heal. Not the best if you ask me, so I would rather go for Magus Elevate if I were you. That is it about the Magus Arcanes you can get from Quill Onco at Cetus. Now let's go to Fortuna and the second arcane dealer, the Little Duck. The first Operator Arcane she sells is Magus Overload, which is quite unique. You can buy it for 10k Vox Solaris standing. What this arcane does is very strong. The arcane makes you slingshot jump a massive bomb. When you phase dive into a group of enemies, it will stun robotic enemies and make them discharge 80% of their max health as electricity damage. So anyone within 25 meter radius will get damaged. You might think to yourself, this is not that good, but against the Corpus, this is insanely good. The only bad thing about the arcane is that there is 3-second cooldown, which is not that much, but it does impact its viability. Every shield of the enemy will basically get obliterated away by this arcane, so it is extremely useful for squad play. One discharges the shields and the others kill. The second Operator Arcane Little Duck sells, which may be quite useful sometimes, is Magus Glitch. She sells this for 10k Vox Solaris standing. This arcane applies a 102% chance to negate transference static. If you don't know what transference static is, it is basically a debuff that lowers your Warframe's health for 30 seconds. If you are playing a high level mission, this can be pretty useful. Magus Revert is sold at Little Duck for 10k Vox Solaris standing and is utterly useless if you ask me. What the arcane does is, well, it restores 60 health to the operator each time you use the Void Sling, with a 3-second cooldown, so at best you will regen about 180 health in about 10 seconds. Besides that, it also teleports the operators back to his original position if you use the Void Sling twice. I tried everything to see how this arcane works, but I can't figure it out. In my opinion, it is utter shite. So let's go to the next one. Magus Firewall is sold for 10k Vox Solaris standing at the Little Duck and is, well, not that good. What it does is quite simple. Every second you're in the void mode, a void particle will spawn. If you pick it up, you will get a 12.5% damage reduction for 60 seconds. Picking up a particle will refresh the damage reduction time, so try to get one as frequently as possible. You can pick up the maximum of 6 for a damage reduction of 75% upon the next hit. There are two catches with this arcane though. The first catch is that when someone hits you, you lose one particle, and the second one is that you can only pick up void particles with your operator and not your Warframe. Your Warframe is not affected at all. It is not the best of arcanes, but it might be what you want or need. The next arcane on the list is Magus Drive, which you can get at Little Duck for 10k Vox Solaris standing. What it does is quite awesome if you are a fan of K-Drives. It increases your K-Drive speed by 150% when maxed for 30 seconds upon entering a Warframe. You might think to yourself, this is a terrible arcane, but if you're an achievement hunter, pick this arcane up and use it to get the 1 million meters on a K-Drive, the K-Driven achievement. I did get this achievement and I didn't use this arcane. Believe me, just driving around the Orb Vallis for hours is not fun. Bad memories, let's go to the next one. Magus Lockdown costs 10k Vox Solaris standing per arcane at the Little Duck. It is quite nice arcane to have for rescue and spy missions. What it does is extremely nice. Upon Void Sling, you will spawn a little whenever you hit the floor. This man will stun up to 10 enemies in a 15-meter radius for 4 seconds, just enough to pass by. Do remember though that enemies with the overshields, the white shields, are immune to the tether mine though, so it is very important. And a little fun fact as well, drones, the detection drones, will not see you if you go through their lasers while they are tethered. Stun and run. Magus Destruction is an arcane that you can get for 10k Vox Solaris standing at the Little Duck. What it does is quite nice. Every enemy hit by your Void Sling will get a 65% puncture damage resistance debuff, which means that Grenier are basically covered in paper. The next arcane is Magus Anomaly, which can be acquired from the Little Duck for 10k Vox Solaris standing, and what it does is quite simple. It pulls all the enemies from 30 meters away to your Warframe upon transferring back into it. This is an amazing arcane to have if you need some nice crowd control. It is very important to know, however, that enemies with overshields are immune to the pull. Magus Melt is an amazing arcane. You can get it from the Little Duck for 10k Vox Solaris standing. What this Operator Arcane does can be somewhat game breaking. It increases the heat damage of your amp by 30% per Void Sling for 15 seconds. You can get up to 7 times to 210% extra heat damage, and it lasts for a total of 15 seconds, with the Void Sling refreshing the timer. Magus Accelerant costs 10k voxelar standing at the little duck and is quite simple. It makes the enemies you hit with your Void Sling less resistant to fire, 65% to be exact. And the last, and in my opinion the best Magus Arcane to have on your operator is Magus Repair. What this arcane does as well, it heals every player, operator and Warframe that is up to 30 meters away from you. You can only heal people while in the void mode, and you will hear like little pulses, and every pulse will raise their health by 25% of their max health. It is an amazing arcane to have if you play in a squad, a very friendly arcane as well. That is it about the arcanes you can get from the little duck, but there is also 3 more arcanes you can find in the space wreckage of Zariman 10-0. There is 2 ways to get the arcanes. One is buying them from your local angry dealer Cavalero, which is the easy but expensive way, and the other way is by farming the arcane sub by killing Void Angels, Thrax Centurions, and Thrax Legatus enemies. Drop chance of the arcanes is quite low, 1.67% per arcane per Void Angel and 0.33% per Thrax enemy kill. This might seem low, but remember there is 15 arcanes in total, lots to farm, and farming them is not that hard as well, so it is not as bad because you're also going to get amp arcanes and secondary arcanes and stuff like that. In reality, Void Angels have 25% arcane drop chance, and Thrax Centurions and Legates have a 5% drop chance, so really not that bad. But now let's look at the arcanes. Emergence Dissipate can be bought from Cavalero for 10k holdfast standing. What it does is quite unique and insanely powerful, especially in missions with many enemies. During a Void Sling towards the enemies, you need to press the shooting button, and this will make all the enemies in a 10-meter radius around you spawn a Void node. One node gives you 10 energy, which means a lot of energy at the end basically for free. The Void nodes don't stay there for a long, so be sure to pick them up, and you can pick them up with a Warframe, so if you're a Zanurek main, you can change that school and play something else with this arcane pretty easily. The second arcane we can get from Cavalero for 70,500 holdfast standing is Emergence Renewed. While you have this arcane equipped, the energy regeneration is increased by 300% every time you deplete your energy fully. This does, however, have a 30-second cooldown, so using a very hungry amp that would use up energy insanely quickly is out of the picture. Also, this only works for Operator, so it's not that good. Emergence Savior is the last operator-based arcane you get from Cavalero for 5k holdfast standing. What it does is nothing special really. Upon taking lethal damage while playing as the operator, you will get 60% of your health restored right away, and that is it. The ability has a 90-second cooldown, so be sure to watch out and not die. Yeah. But yeah, that is it. My favorite arcanes as of now are Emergence Dissipate because I am a Zanurek main, and I really like to play other schools as well, but with Mirage Prime, my favorite Warframe, I am heavily dependent on energy regeneration. Like, a lot. The second arcane I use a insane amount of is Magus Repair. Always nice to heal the squad fully on Hydron and other squad-based missions, especially starter missions, because why not help the community? But yeah, that is it. What do you use? Please let me know down in the comments. I also want to add that almost half of the arcanes here are useless for the operator. Like the damage reduction ones for the enemies. I don't see them useful in many situations, like maybe in very specific ones, but yeah, I'm not that sure. So what is your opinion on that? With this, I thank you for watching and wish you a very nice day. Bye guys!